Hello, hello, hello. Antphrodite here, your pop culture psychic, back again with another celebrity reading. And it looks like MGK and Megan Fox are overdue for an update. I will put the last reading I did on them up here. It's been a while. Since then, I believe they've gotten engaged. And just recently, Megan looked amazing on her, I think it was Glamour magazine photo shoot. Ugh, she's always been the number one it girl to me. Love her, stan her, love her. But she looked beautiful, and she had just said, and the internet went ablaze, that they apparently, allegedly, drink each other's blood. I don't know, for ritual purposes, what she said. I don't know. I mean, I will say both of them are really good at giving a soundbite that grabs the headlines to promote whatever product or project they're working on. So who knows what's really going on, but I'm going to go ahead and give a little updated reading on them. Last time was a little intense, so hopefully things have gotten a little bit easier between the two of them. Remember, these readings are all alleged for entertainment purposes only, and let's get started. Okay, so Megan will be on the left, MGK on the right. Okay. Oh, she's just so beautiful to me. I love her so much. I feel like anybody who is like a millennial, though, like knows that she's like that bitch. You know what I mean? But anyways. So interestingly enough, she showed up as the King of Pentacles reversed. So right off the bat, I can tell you that she really, now is the time for her to focus on her career. And I'm a little bit concerned because it looks like she's maybe having some struggles there. Perhaps there's some production delays in some of the stuff she wants to do, or maybe she's putting it on the back burner. But I definitely am a little bit concerned about some of the projects not manifesting in the way they need to. And I think that I know that she's a very spiritual person, so I need her to kind of manifest a little bit more on like the career aspect of herself. Like, I know she's probably focusing a lot on love, but I think she needs to shift a little bit. I think she's being a little bit too heavy-handed with the love. Now it's also interesting because I believe is he a Taurus? I believe he's a Taurus. I don't remember what her sign is, but I believe he's a Taurus, and so that would be him, and he's reversed. So I also see that as like he's in her energy, which to me, not a good thing, because what happens is it's not that she will become him or he will become her. It's more like she's building her life around him, and I don't think that's a smart thing to do, because what's going to happen is she's going to be forced to make decisions that are going to have an impact on him that aren't going to go well. So basically what I'm saying is, if she doesn't detach from his energy slightly, and she doesn't, because right now they're intertwined too much, then what's going to happen is there's going to be a shit ton of friction, because he's going to be pulled out from her energy by the universe, and he will be pushed away, and it's going to cause a lot of problems between the two of them, because it won't be natural. It'll be forced out, and there'll be a lot of fighting. So for me, I'm a little bit concerned about her allowing him to consume her completely. And I know there's a part of her that probably wants to give her all to someone and give completely to him, but I'm concerned because it's not going to be a healthy dynamic if that continues. So right now, I would say that they're slightly overdoing it, and they need a little bit better boundaries there, but it more so is just about her needing to really spearhead her career. And I believe I saw this in her last reading, like she really needs to hit the pedal to the pavement. I also think for him, the Knight of Wands is reversed between the two of them, and like the first inclination is I think there's a career issue with him. I don't know why, but I'm feeling like potentially burnout or like a halt coming for him, and so I think that's going to shock her a little bit. And so I think that's why she might need to be a little bit prepared for her own endeavors. Now, the Three of Wands is what he showed up as, which tells me that he is preoccupied with a lot of things in his life. And so that is someone who wants to be liberated and free. My concern is that she is an anchor to him, which I think is okay, but I'm worried about her consuming him, anchoring him, until she can't anymore, and then him floating all over the place, because he's a floater with the Three of Wands. And I think that there's a level of unpredictability in him that she's almost trying to tame, that she needs to be careful, because the more she tries to tame this, the more he will float. He's the type of person who needs to be able to float around and come back to his partners. That doesn't mean that he's not loyal or faithful or cheating. Sometimes it does, but in this instance, what I want to sort of reiterate is that he needs to be free and come back and free and come back. And I actually think that she needs to learn to be that way as well. The Knight of Wands is reversed, which makes me feel like there's a lot of misguided aggression between the two of them. So to me, I feel like that their communication styles are different. And I believe she tries very hard to understand his communication style. And I think that he pretends to understand her communication style. I don't know if he's able to comprehend some of the deep emotional feelings that she has and that she expresses. I see him as more of someone going through the motions because he thinks he's supposed to, rather than really being able to embrace those. And I think that has to do with the speed in which they're connecting. It's too fast and too much too quickly for him. So he doesn't want to lose her, and he doesn't want to cause her pain, so he just placates her sometimes. And I think she feels this. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think that's why she needs to kind of detach a little bit and pull back a little bit. And stop trying to anchor him so much, because it's making him feel like he's playing catch up with her. I think her energy burns pretty bright and pretty strong. Reminds me a lot of some of the situations and issues that I've had in my relationships, where when you burn really hot and really bright, sometimes your partners feel inadequate because they're trying so hard to catch up with you and they just can't. Because I see her like sprinting ahead and holding her hand out, and he's just like out of breath, like he's like struggling a little bit. And I think that's also where the Three of Wands comes into play for him, because the Three of Wands for me is like him being like, I just need a distraction. And, you know, I'm a little bit concerned with that. As I said before, especially he's a rock star. I'm sure there's people throwing at himself 24/7, but I'm just a little bit concerned because it feels like I see her taking things very personal. So Six of Pentacles is like commitment. It's like follow through, accountability. And I do think that he does follow through with the things that he says he's going to. But the problem here is the Ten of Swords and the Moon, which means that he has a habit of omitting some things that she feels are not always him being truthful. So basically that's like, let's say like let's say he's on tour, right? And he went to dinner with his dancers. But then she finds out that there was this girl at the dinner that she didn't know about. I think for her, sometimes there's a feeling of insecurity there where it's like, well, who's this bitch? And I think like sometimes he makes himself look guilty of things because he's oblivious than he really is. Because I don't see him as someone who's like malicious, and I don't see him as someone that is actively trying to seek out other people, but I see him as completely oblivious and kind of space-headed, and I think he doesn't really do himself any favors. I don't think he's able to correctly articulate himself to Megan in a way that she feels comfortable, secure, and safe. And so I feel like sometimes she gets triggered in the way she reacts, like the small things. She's extremely detail oriented, and I don't think that he is. I think he pretends that he is, but I don't think he is. So for her, she notices those little things. She's very perceptive. I think that's one of their biggest issues, because I definitely see a huge fight here, and I don't know if this has happened yet, but there's a huge fight about what she deems a lie versus what he deems a lie. And I guess lie is a strong word. It's more like omission of truth, because I just think that for her, she's an all or nothing person, and I don't know if he's that type of energy. Okay, let's keep going. He's really insecure. Okay, so Chariot is about progress and moving on. The Sun is reversed, which is unhappiness, and the Two of Pentacles is an even equal exchange between people. He feels that she's out of his league. He totally feels like she's out of his league. I don't know if she knows this. I think she might feel this, which is why she feels the need to like over-explain their love and be overly affectionate, because I think she subconsciously feels this, that he feels a little bit inadequate being around her. I am a little bit concerned about that, because I will say, as someone that has a habit of attracting men like this myself. Some of the issues that men like that have is that if they get to a place where they feel like you're so much cooler than them and better than them, then they do have a habit of running. And so I'm very concerned about him running and having cold feet because of this. This is something that they both definitely have to make sure they're communicating properly, because he has very low self-esteem. And with the sun reversed, he does not know what true happiness is. And he doesn't really know how to be happy. And I think he's learning that. And I think she's helping him learn that and teaching him that. But the problem is that just because you teach someone something does not mean that they remain in that energy. And it doesn't mean that they stay. And so my concern with this connection is I see a lot of potential growth for him, but I'm not seeing her focus on her growth. And I think that's something she needs to switch. I think it's something she could easily switch. I think it's something that she could kind of tap into and flip this on its head. But I think her biggest fear is like her being like super amazing and then him feeling even more inadequate. But do not dim your shine for him. Now, the Hangman is upright, the Page of Swords is reversed, and the Five of Wands. So interestingly enough, it does look like they've learned triggers in each other. I definitely feel like there had to have been a moment recently, and if this did not happen recently, then I do think it will. And I don't want to I know it's like doom and gloomy, but I think this is natural for most couples. There had to have been, or there's about to be, but I really feel like there just was a huge fight that almost broke them up. Because the Page of Swords is reversed, the Five of Wands reversed, the Hangman, which means we let this go. But this was a huge issue. And this is the type of fight that you can put off to the side, but it will resurface at some point. It's like, you know what? It's fine. We'll deal with this later. This is definitely a fight that had to have happened pretty recently, and it's going to resurface later. It's going to resurface later. It's not over. They've decided to let it go, but for now, I'm trying to see if I can figure out what it is. It's something serious, though. It's something that could have broken them up. I'm not joking. The Stars reverse, yeah. It's about the attention that she was receiving versus the attention he was giving to someone or something else. Because Six of Wands is ego and pride, and Knight of Cups. Overstaying your welcome. Overstepping your boundaries. That's what I'm hearing. Self-sabotage on his part. That's exactly what it was. Okay, this is one thing I don't like about him. Towers reverse, restructuring from drama. Eight of Swords is about feeling pressured and trapped. And Two of Swords, a decision you don't go back from. There's a part of him that creates problems to see if she still cares. I don't like that. He will create problems to test her and see if she still cares. I don't like that. That's not good. That's not healthy. That's something he needs to change. Don't like that energy at all. Because the Two of Swords being reversed and the Tower tells me that he knows it'll be fixed. He knows she'll fix it or they'll fix it. He knows that they'll rebuild, but he kind of likes drama and he likes to stir it up a little bit. Because he likes to test, are you still into me? And he does that on purpose. Let me tell you something. She is not stupid. She knows that he does this and she calls him out on it. She's like, you're doing this on purpose to see what I'll do. But she's a reactive person. So it's really difficult for her to hold back. She's a very reactive person. There's something one of them is going to have to do in their career, because there's money attached to this, that the other one is not going to like. This is you know what this reminds me of? I don't want you to do a sex scene with that guy, or I don't want you to kiss that guy, or I don't want you to do a video with that girl. There's something in their career. To be honest with you, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be blunt here. I think it's something with her. I think it's her, either her doing a movie with someone or a scene with someone or a project with someone. And he is just going to be a dick about it. The Three of Swords is reversed, which means he's going to be a big baby about it and not like it. It's him. That's because he's the insecure one here. So I just feel like it's him. Yes. The Fool's upright, the Five of Pentacles reversed, and the King of Wands. And oh my God. So that's him being angry about it. And the Fool's upright, which is about like naive energy and childish energy. And the Five of Pentacles is about having power over someone. He's going to be like, so she must have said something to him or did something to him that made him feel like he couldn't do this. So then he's going to be like, well, you can't do it either. You're a hypocrite if you do that because I couldn't do this, this, and this. So no, now you can't do that. There's something that she did or prevented him from doing that, and I think it was early on, that he's kind of holding a little bit of a grudge against, and he's going to do the same to her. She's not going to like it when he does it to her, but she kind of deserves it. You want to know what's funny, though, is that I see her as being a little bit petty, and I see her kind of being like, really? I'll do something to spite you. She's a little bit of a brat. Someone doesn't trust the other one's ex. And I actually think that that's valid. One of them doesn't trust the other one's ex, and it's 100% valid because their ex wants them back. King of Swords, Hierophant, Judgment. I will do anything to have you back. I would commit to you. I would marry you. I would be with you because, Hierophant's a marriage card. The Ace of Cups is reversed, which is a falling out of love. The Wheel of Fortune, you were a golden opportunity. Page of Wands, I said and did the wrong thing and fucked it up. So one of their exes really, really wants them back, and they're like really upset about it. And whoever's ex it is like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Worry about it because this person wants you back, and you should. Their feelings are valid. Interestingly enough, I don't think they would go back to this person. The Seven of Wands is reversed, the Nine of Cups is upright, and the Eight of Pentacles. This makes me feel like it has to be her ex, because I know she was married, right? I feel like it has to be her ex. I mean, it could be his, but I feel like he's the type of person that I would see him go back to someone more than she would, so I feel like it's probably her, because the Seven of Wands, like, I ain't going back. And the Nine of Cups is upright with the Eight of Pentacles, which is like... The Nine of Cups and Eight of Pentacles would be like... How do I word this? You gave me everything I wanted and it still wasn't enough, and I gave you everything I wanted and it still wasn't enough. So that's why I gave up. Like, I tried every option. I tried every angle. I did everything I possibly could to make this work, and it didn't work, so I give up. That's why that's when someone's done. They're like, no, we've tried everything. I think that their sex is very healing for both of them. High Priestess, healing. Two of Wands, Sex. Ace of Wands would be like a penis. And so I feel it's also the birth of something new. So I see that as like extremely healing for both of them. I don't know if either of them really felt this level of intimacy before and vulnerability. I think both of them feel like they can be really vulnerable and intimate with each other. And I don't know if they felt that before. Now, I will say that the Ace of Wands, the High Priestess, and the Two of Wands, that's usually a great indicator of potential pregnancy if they are interested in conceiving. If not, you could just ignore it, but it is there. It is there. Maybe that's something they talked about. I don't really know, or maybe they're not interested in doing it. But if they haven't talked about it, there will be a discussion about that soon, whether or not they want to or not, or if they even can. But it's there. The energy is there. So I guess potential pregnancy there. But, I try not to be too rigid about that because, pregnancy is a hot button issue and very complicated. And it's a little bit difficult here to be black and white with that, especially without a client in front of me. But yeah, most of that energy is basically just like starting fresh and feeling young again, feeling vibrant again, feeling alive again. I think that their connection is healing. If I'm being honest with you, if this was a client in front of me, the Four of Wands is like a home and a family, an environment. The Page of Pentacles, expectations, and Magician's upright, which is communication. This is the type of relationship where I would say that you're going to have a good time. It's going to be intense. But I'm a little bit concerned about them burning each other out. So in terms of longevity for these two, it's going to rely on a few things. One, he is going to have to make sure he doesn't self-sabotage and run away / cheat, okay, out of him feeling inadequate. 2, she's going to have to make sure she doesn't suffocate him. 3, she needs to make sure she's focusing on her career and entering her own power and being unapologetic about that. Okay. And 4, I think between the two of them, they really, 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 really need to understand that energy ebbs and flows. And when it's on a little bit of a downward peak, you do not need to freak out, because I'm just really worried about them going in a little bit of a low point, freaking out and burning each other out. It doesn't have to, the rope doesn't have to burn at both ends and then complete. It can burn forever and eternal if they're smart about it. But if I were to give you a percentage chance of them being able to make it through this, right now, I would say they have about a 60% chance of success. So it's a decent rate. Again, it's just, I'm a little bit worried about him self-sabotaging, to be honest. I'm very worried about that. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this. It's not in the worst place. I will say their relationship is in a way better place than the last time I read them. The last time I read them, it was not good, in my opinion. And I think it was because she couldn't figure him out. That's what I think was their problem. She couldn't figure him out. She figured him out. So now it's just a matter of connecting properly. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about this relationship. I don't really know how to feel about it. I think that it's kind of both equal parts good and bad, which sometimes, that works for people and it works out. I don't really see this. I see this more as right now they're tugging at each other and it's a battle for control. But that doesn't mean that it can't even out. This is still a ton of potential. And, the one good thing about this relationship is they have a shit ton of chemistry. A lot of chemistry, a lot of passion for each other. And, passion is the biggest key to keeping it alive. So, I don't know. I think this has potential. I think I understand why the world is so invested in this relationship. And I understand why a lot of people feel like they can relate. I feel like their love story is very reminiscent of most people's one that got away, which is why they project onto them that feeling of oh my God, I'm rooting for them, because it reminds them of the one that got away for them. And it also reminds everyone of their first love, their puppy love, their first love. They're when they were kids, which I know some people are going to cringe. And I do think, obviously there's levels of cringe in every relationship, but I do think there's a beauty in people who are older, who are falling back in love with love and falling back in love with their inner child and embracing that. So I don't necessarily think it's horrible. I just think that it's something that they probably needed to heal. So hopefully you guys like that. If you did, make sure you tip. There's a link to my people down below. Follow me Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, Antphrodite. Until next time. Bye, guys.